Let's be honest, pain has always been part of the human package. Birth, pain. Life, pain. Death, probably the worst of them all. But here's the catch, humans don't just suffer. We get creative about it. We invent new ways to hurt ourselves, mess things up, or die in spectacular, ridiculous ways. And we didn't just start this trend in modern times. Nope. This talent goes way, way back to the very first members of our Homo family tree. So today on Prehistoric Medievals, we're diving headfirst into the most miserable, unlucky, and downright unfair ways ancient humans have died. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's your chance. Because trust me, this is not the kind of content you want to miss. Let's start strong with a murder. Not just any murder, the oldest known murder in human history. 430,000 years ago, somewhere in what is now Spain, a Homo heidelbergensis of our lesser-known cousin ended up with 2 massive holes in his skull. And no, this wasn't a tragic fall or some unlucky rock slide. These holes were precise, clean, consistent with repeated blows from a stone tool. In other words, someone didn't like him. Someone really didn't like him. Welcome to the Stone Age, where sharp rocks and bad tempers were a deadly combo. This poor guy became the first officially confirmed murder victim in the fossil record. And to make things worse, he was tossed into a cave along with hundreds of others who may have suffered the same fate. Possibly the oldest group burial ever, or just one giant prehistoric dump site. Either way, yikes. And hey, while you're here, consider subscribing to Prehistoric Medievals, because the only thing older than murder is your delay in hitting that red button. But believe it or not, things can get worse. Enter 07. He wasn't murdered. Oh no, that would have been merciful. 07 belonged to Homo habilis, one of the tiniest early humans, standing just 4 feet tall. And one day, in a prehistoric wetland, he went out for a drink. Bad idea. Because lurking beneath the water was Crocodilus thorbjarnarssonith, biggest crocodile to ever exist, 25 feet long, over 2 tons of prehistoric death. It lunged, crushed his leg, ripped it off, and left him bleeding in the mud. That alone would have been enough to end his story. But no, nature wasn't finished yet. As he lay dying, a second predator showed up, some kind of giant feline and attacked him from behind, sinking claws or teeth into the back of his skull. Double kill, croc in the front, big cat in the back. Ancient tag team nightmare. And we complain about Mondays. If you're not already subscribed to Prehistoric Medievals, seriously, what are you doing? This stuff's wild, and we've barely scratched the surface. Now, you might think, okay, that's enough prehistoric horror for one day, but oh no, because ancient humans didn't just die from predators or stone tools. Sometimes they died from vitamins. Yep, meet KNMER 1808, a 1.7 million year old Homo erectus from Kenya, whose skeleton tells the story of one of the slowest, most miserable deaths imaginable: vitamin A poisoning. Her bones showed bizarre overgrowth, as if her body had been trying to heal from something, but there were no wounds. Turns out, she'd been consuming way too much vitamin A, probably from eating liver, especially carnivore liver, which can store toxic amounts. What followed? Bone pain, hair loss, bleeding, joint failure. Her body basically turned on itself over months, maybe years, until it finally gave out. So yeah, no predators, no fights, just too much liver. Still think your salad tastes boring? And by the way, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the most cursed deaths in human history, go ahead and subscribe to Prehistoric Medievals. Because trust me, it only gets worse. Speaking of worse, let's look up literally. The Tong Child was just a young Australopithecus, living his best prehistoric life 2.8 million years ago. Until one day, the sky opened up and death dropped in. We're talking a giant eagle eyes, an actual bird swooping down, piercing his eyes and crushing his skull. The injuries match exactly what we see in monkeys today when they're attacked by birds of prey, but here's the weird part. Only his skull was found, no body, no bones. Just a little head in a lonely cave. Some scientists think the eagle tried to use his corpse to build a nest. And the head? It just rolled off into a cave for millions of years. Now, if that doesn't make you paranoid about pigeons, I don't know what will. And hey, if you're not subscribed to Prehistoric Medievals by now, that's the real tragedy. But the final blow quite literally might belong to Homo erectus in Java. You see, erectus was kind of a big deal. First to leave Africa, first to conquer Asia, and possibly the first to die, all at once. Nearly 100 years ago, researchers found a cluster of erectus skeletons jumbled together like a fossil traffic jam. No wounds, no disease. Just one thing, a riverbed full of volcanic debris. The best guess? A volcanic lahar, basically a hellish mix of boiling mud and ash swept them away mid-migration. Drowned, buried, fossilized. One of the rare cases where we actually see a mass extinction in progress. Nature didn't just kill one, it erased a whole group. And that, friends, is how a successful species becomes a footnote in the dirt. Kind of poetic, kind of terrifying. Definitely a reason to hit subscribe on Prehistoric Medievals, because history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme with doom. And just when you thought prehistoric death couldn't get any grislier, let's talk hyenas. Not the giggly ones from cartoons, the real ones. Specifically, Pachycrocuta, the biggest hyena to ever live. Think lion-sized jaws, steel-trap teeth, and an appetite for Homo erectus skulls. At one fossil site in China, more than 28 human remains were found, most of them smashed to pieces. The bones weren't just bitten, they were pulverized, cracked open for marrow, gnawed like leftovers. For years, scientists thought it was cannibalism. Turns out, it was a hyena den. Yep, Erectus wasn't the hunter here, he was the snack. And the worst part? We found no evidence of the Revesino hyena bones with human bite marks, just the other way around. Prehistoric karma? Or just a really bad neighborhood? Either way, that's one more reason to be glad you live now, and one more reason to subscribe to Prehistoric Medievals, because those who forget their history might just end up as lunch. And finally, let's talk teeth. The Tucana boy, or KNMWT 15000, was another young Homo erectus. No predator, no cave, no murder mystery, just a really bad dental situation. He lost his baby teeth, but the new ones came in crooked, colliding, causing infection, leading to an abscess that likely became sepsis. A tooth infection killed him at 8 or 9 years old. And if that wasn't enough, CT scans suggest he also had a severely herniated disc, something that would have left him in constant pain, barely able to move. So either his mouth killed him, or his spine did, or maybe both. And after death, a swamp, a trampling herd, a volcanic eruption. His body was preserved by a cosmic joke of accidents, frozen in time for 1,000,000 years. So next time your dentist nags you, maybe just say thank you. And also smash that subscribe button on Prehistoric Medievals, because pain, death, and prehistoric disasters, we've got plenty more.